Okay, so for those of you who don't know, there is a weapon in the game, and if you somehow don't know about this, first of all, goddamn, you're pretty new to the game. But there's a jackhammer. It is, it has got to be one of my favorite weapons in the game. However, it does replace the shotgun, as you can tell here. Like, so the one advantage that you get from normal shotguns is that you could just do shotgun swap. However, you can somewhat do the same thing with jackhammers, like that. However, the some of the advantages that you get is the fact that hold on is the fact that against enemies that have armor, that's the wrong thing. But however, you do get against enemies that have armor, the shotgun. So here I'll do this for example. For the shotgun, pellets or sorry, explosion pellets just kind of bounce off, so it's kind of worthless. And also too, you don't really do too much damage to more like for example Maurice's with it. If you do someone like let's say the Minotaur, if you hit their armor, it all kind of just bounces off, or most of it at least. Yeah, it kind of just bounces off. However, jackhammer, it does not give a shit. What's even better is that you do more damage the faster you move. What this means is that, well, the faster you move, the more damage you do. Like that. Now, let me get on to talking about the variants. So, core eject, instead of it doing a instead of it just like kind of shooting the core eject out really far, kind of like that, it will just kind of slide out. However, you could do that, like it'll just slide out. However, if you hit it with the jackhammer, it becomes a hit scan projectile. Pretty silly. It's even funnier when you find out that it can bounce off coins for whatever reason. Why it can do that, I do not know. It is really funny, though. So you kind of just do dumb stuff, kind of like this. If I do it correctly. Ignore that. But if you do something like this, you can kind of just do that. It does, like, no damage. However, it still works, because, yes. The second variation is the pump shotgun. It's quite literally the same thing, except you get one less charge. And instead of the charges having more pellets, the higher the charge, it causes a miniature, like, air explosion kind of thing, if you can see it with that. That little white ball that you saw. And it's basically just like a mini explosion that you can do. It just causes more damage, and then at max, of course, it just kind of blows up. And then unlike the normal shotgun, if you dash into it, you get out with basically scot-free with taking damage. However, you do, if you forward dash with the jackhammer, you do not get that. Instead, you have to backdash for the same effect. But honestly, it's not really that big of an issue. It's just changing like one key press, in my opinion. And then of course you got sawed off, or sawed on, I should say. This one's nothing special. It's just that you can do this. You can just parry the shotgun or the chainsaw with the jackhammer itself, rather than needing your fist or whatever. because, you know, totally normal. Oh, if I can do it right. Yeah, you can't. That's pretty much everything for jackhammer wise. However, you can do some silly tech with it. So, for instance, like if you don't feel like dash jumping to instantly kill the Maurice, for example, you can always do a whiplash, but release the whiplash roughly right before you hit the Maurice to get max speed instantly. Kill it and just kill him instantly because why not? The only downside that the jackhammer comes with is that if you do hit a max speed hit, it will put the jackhammer on a solid 8-second cooldown, which for some people may kill the reason why they'd want to use it. However, I find this very minimal because you can still shotgun swap, or not shotgun swap. You can still jackhammer swap to just not give a damn. For example, you can get 3 off, and by the time that you do the third one, it'll still be a second, but you'll have the first one you use already off cooldown and ready to use. Did I also mention that you can hit rockets with it to make them into hit scan projectiles? Yeah, you can do that. Why? I do not know, but you can do something called the honored one, where you just kind of do this. Oh, wow, I suck. But basically, you just do this. You do that. I personally do not know how to do it properly. You could probably look up a tutorial on how to do it properly, because people are good at the game like that, unlike me. But yeah, you can also do, if you time it right, you can also just hit the chainsaw on its way out, like that. It's kind of a weird timing though. But yeah, main reasons why I love the chainsaw, or the jackhammer, is because 1, silly damage, 2, go fast for silly damage and with easy text to master with it, 2, it just is goofy in itself. But yeah, honestly, super fun weapon. You can do a lot of one-shot combos with it. You can also do nukes way easier with it. For example, you can just kind of do that, get super easy nuke off with almost no drawbacks. And then of course you can also do it like this, or just aim up for airtime instead, rather than forward momentum. For example, you can use this in 0-1 with the pipe clip, if you know what that is. It's a lot more effective with pipe clip too. At the game for that kill. But you can use it there. You can also use it in 0-2 as well. You can use it in a lot of places really for clips. What is happening? yeah, just do that. So that's just an example of 2 places where you can use that. But yeah, that's just pretty much all I wanted to talk about. I also just needed an excuse to make a video, and also to actually a video idea rather than just dumb stuff or whatnot. But yeah, pretty fun weapon overall. Anyways, that's all I want to talk about. See you guys later.